It had been a day of finding things. Katie learned that if you lose a sock in the dryer, you might actually find it stuck inside your pants. Orbie found out that if you pour a whole bag of marbles onto the floor, they will roll everywhere and it'll take a long time to find them all. And they both discovered that the back corner of the closet is a great place to find lost pennies and toy car wheels. During the night, a great white blanket of snow fell on the neighborhood. The next morning, as Katie and Orbie were pulling on their snow clothes to get out in the deep new snow, the doorbell rang. When they threw open the door, they were surprised to find a delivery man with a huge parcel standing there. He looked down at the two friends and asked them their names. When they told him, he smiled and placed the parcel in their hands. Mom signed a special piece of paper. After she'd finished and closed the door, Mom discovered the wintry-dressed friends at the kitchen table, jackets unzipped, waiting for her. They just positively had to find out what was in the package. Mom cut through the string, and in a second, the paper was torn away, exposing a big box with a note on it. It said that these costumes were for Katie and Orbie. They were from Auntie Ninty. Actually, her name was Auntie Ginny, but when Katie was a very little girl, she said Ninty instead of Ginny. Aunt Ginny loved her special Katie name and always used it. The note also said she had made an extra costume for a friend to use. Orbie ripped off the tape that was holding the box closed. Katie pulled up the lid, and inside was a beautiful princess costume. The dress was long and trimmed with white fluffy stuff. When Katie pulled it out, she found a gorgeous glittery crown and put it right on over her head. Next, Orbie lifted out a shining knight's costume. It had a chest plate, a pretend armor, and a helmet with a perfect plume that meant a feather. Orbie put the breastplate on and pulled the helmet over his head. Katie giggled, but I should tell you, Orbie felt magnificent. They pulled the next costume out together. It was all green, and it wasn't until the tail part slipped out of the box and the headpiece was exposed that Katie and Orbie shouted, "Dragon!" at the very same time. They both wanted to be the dragon, too, but as it happened, at that very moment, the doorbell rang again. Miguel stood at the door with a snow shovel in his hand. Katie and Orbie shouted, "Dragon!" Miguel turned around quickly to make sure that there wasn't one behind him. Giggling, his friends grabbed him and pulled him into the house. But it was as they were looking at the costumes that they realized that they had a problem. They wanted to dress up, but they also wanted to play in the white fluffy snow before it melted away. Mom looked at the three friends and told them that she had a solution to their problem. They could wear the headpieces outside, and when they came in again, they could play with the full costume. The three friends hugged Mom. She was good at finding solutions. And with a zip and a zap, the friends were outside ready for their game. As they dug down in the snow with their shovels, Katie announced that she was going to be a princess who was looking for her long-lost dragon. Miguel, who had on the dragon hood, felt very important as he put his shovel down and ran to hide. Princess Katie commanded Knight Orbie to go out and find the dragon and bring him home safely. Sir Orbie was very excited and raced for his sword. The princess stopped him and declared that he couldn't take a sword on this journey. Well, as you can imagine, Sir Orbie was astonished. The princess expected him to go and find a fire-breathing dragon and bring it home without his sword? The knight stomped around in the snow, pretending to be angry with the princess. The princess gently scolded him. He must find another, more peaceful way to bring the dragon back to her. Orbie, who knew exactly where Miguel was hiding, trudged around in the deep snow in the opposite direction, pretending to look for the dragon. Then he looped back to Miguel. Miguel roared and raised his hands over his head, trying to be terrifying. Fearful, Sir Orbie backflipped in the snow and shook his knees. Katie and Miguel couldn't help laughing. Quivering and quaking, Sir Orbie told the dragon that he just wanted to take him to the beautiful princess. The dragon growled and stamped his feet because he didn't understand. So Orbie flipped and spun in midair and raced over the snow, following his loop-around path to the princess's castle. Gasping for air, Orbie tooted to the princess that the dragon was mean and very frightening. He couldn't possibly, even though he was really a brave knight, bring him home without his sword. The princess kissed Sir Orbie's cheek and scooped up some snow. She made it into a snowball and gave it to the knight. Sir Orbie didn't know what he was supposed to do with it. Katie giggled and told him that it was a snow apple, a gift for the dragon. She added it was his favorite kind. So the knight set off again on his winding path. When he showed the dragon the apple, he eyed it suspiciously. He sniffed it and then took it with glee. And when the dragon raised his arms up in the air and roared, Sir Orbie shrank down, waiting to be eaten up. But instead, the dragon patted Sir Orbie on the head. And with that, the knight led the dragon home. At the castle where the dragon pretended to munch on his snow apple, Sir Orbie asked if the apple was magic. The princess told him it was the magic of doing a friendly thing. Then the princess announced that they had saved her long-lost dragon, and now they must celebrate and enjoy a hot chocolate together. Later in the kitchen, as they put on the full costumes, the friends babbled happily to Mom about their game. Mom said when she was little, she loved to play imagination games, just like the three friends. She told them that imagination was a very wonderful thing to have, and with it, you could always make your own fun, no matter where you were. And I hope you remember to make believe and pretend, just like Katie and Orbie.
People make all kinds of neat things out of clay. You can mold clay with your hands into figures, or use a potter's wheel, which is like a spinning plate, to make mugs, bowls, and vases. Don't be upset if it doesn't work right away. You can always try again.